by all of us as Namibians. And as I say, given what we were able to achieve over the years, I see no reason why we should not be able to address the inequality in our society. And in steering Namibia to the next level of development and prosperity, we need to create a caring nation. That's important, a caring nation where the strongest among us feel always compelled to protect the weakest among us, where the minority do not feel to be made objects of scorn by the majority simply because we are the majority, where the most vulnerable are made to feel not abandoned, and where the younger ones are made to feel afforded the necessary opportunity to fulfill their dreams. A nation that feels as one, the one that recognizes and encourages the contribution of everyone, is in a better position to overcome the challenges that lie ahead of us, including that of inequality. Going forward, all of us must make it our responsibility to address social ills in our midst, and therefore our pledge of all of us should be to do everything in our collective abilities to make Namibia a better place to live in for all Namibians. I'd like to end my remarks quoting Albert Einstein, who once said, and I quote, he said, "The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything." To my mind, really, the man-made inequality in our society that we are witnessing today can be equally equated to evil. The question is, however, I want to leave with you is this: where do I stand and where do you stand in addressing inequality in our society? And I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Please don't leave the podium. We've got a Q&A session for you and Dr. White. If you can just take a seat here. Yeah, just join us here for the Q&A. Very brief with Dr. White. A very important, I think, point I also picked up from the conversation was, what do you want to be when you grow up? I think when I was a child, I only wanted to be one thing, because growing up in Katutura, there were two sets of people that were the most famous. It was the pastors and the teachers. And when I was a child, I really just wanted to grow up to become a pastor, and that was for one reason only. Because at all the funerals and weddings, they're the guys that got to eat first. And that's why I wanted to become a pastor when I was a child. So hopefully I had some good high school education and changed that. But that's still a dream that's still hanging in the balance in case this whole journalism and law thing doesn't work out. I'm going to start a church. Are we ready? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take questions. Please indicate, just mention your name, the organization, and let's keep it very brief. Only one question or comment. Just one. So we can keep with the time. Okay. All right, we've got a first one here.
That's one, so just stop. Are you asking a question?
I thought somebody else was...
No, it's fine. It's your turn.
Okay, okay, thanks. Thank you. Let me start with one very important point that the Honorable Minister mentioned, and this is leadership. We have always been observing that leaders, especially in the context of Africa, come and serve not the people that have given them the chance to be leaders, but to serve themselves. My understanding of leadership is that you are there to serve others. Your responsibility is for others, not for yourselves. I have a number of examples where leadership has completely ignored its own responsibilities and has taken it as a position for serving itself. And the second thing, of course, is leadership takes complete ownership of the leadership position. No way to give chance to others, considering that when one becomes a leader, no other people can take his place and so on, until finally it's forced out. So, so that is a fundamental point. And the second point that I want to mention that always confuses is between growth and development. Growth is...
Excuse me, sir, just a reminder, just at one point, but I'll give you one more. But just a reminder once again, please, just 1 point, either a question or a comment, and then we keep it moving. Thank you.
All right, I live it, so I just want to suggest a systematic approach to the whole process. We must first clearly identify the kinds of inequalities that exist in the country, and second, what the causal factors of the inequalities are, third, what the consequences of that, and then finally, the ways forward. And this is a systematic approach that I would like to see going.
I think we can, in the interest of time, a little bit later on, we'll make provision for that. Next question or comment? Like I said, once again, please indicate your name and the organization you represent, and whether it's going to be a question and comment, and please keep it brief.
Good morning. My name is Basilis Casera. I'm the Dean of Student at IUM. I have a question for Dr. White. Now that it's only one question, I literally have 6 questions, but I'll only ask one I think is the most important one. Dr. White, you spoke in favor of the free market economy as the route to actively addressing poverty. However, are you not assuming that we have all had a homogeneous historical, political, social, and economic and cultural revolution globally? Can we truly function and tackle poverty within the confines of the free market economy? Within the confines of the free market economy, given these various evolutionary trajectories that we experience, given the West, which is mostly a free market, and Africa, which is a developing continent, and given the Namibian condition, that can we truly say that we all need the free market to be able to address poverty?
Thank you.
Is this working? Yes, it is now. I think so, is the answer. If you look at some of the most successful countries over the last half century or more, say, for example, take Singapore. Singapore's followed a free market kind of a model. Not a pure free market model, no country does actually. But it's been unbelievably successful. When it got independence in 1965 from Malaysia, the GDP per person in Singapore was, I think, about a quarter of Britain's. By now, it's 50% higher. It's been an extraordinary success story. And Singapore is a country of ethnic Chinese and ethnic Malay people. Very different kind of philosophical background, different religions, different philosophy, Confucianism as opposed to Christianity and so on. But capitalism or free markets work very well there. Another country which has been very successful is Chile in Latin America, following that kind of a model since the mid-1970s. Again, very different ethnic mix from most European countries, different kinds of history. So I think that the form that capitalism will take will reflect the cultural background of the place, but the basic elements seem to work everywhere. As China has moved to a more market-based economy, it's grown enormously. So I think that all countries have their historical background, their cultural identities, and that will change the form that things take. But the very basics, such as private property, voluntary these essential elements of capitalism tend to produce wealth wherever they're implemented. So that my answer is that I think, yes, it can work. And indeed is working to some extent. I mean, you have still a large portion of the population that's far too poor, but Namibia has made good economic progress over decades and following a broadly market-based approach.
Honorable Alwindo, you want to add some value there?
Yes. By the way, Carl, I forgot to say, I was never head of Namibia. I don't know why you say I was head of Namibia. You probably found that from Wikipedia. I was never head of Namibia, just to make that clear. I think, Dr. White, I came in late. I don't know. It's always good to know people's background, where they come from, and when they talk. Now, you see, when you say, the virtues of market economy, Namibia has followed that and is doing well, and therefore you are encouraging us to follow that. I've got to tell you that unfortunately, with all those good policies that you say are good policies we are following, we are actually not addressing the inequality, and therefore there is something missing still. And therefore, each country should really probably have its own unique way of addressing some of the social challenges. The Singapore example you also mentioned. At the time, Singapore was not admired by everybody. Everybody thought they were doing the wrong things. It's only because they persisted and they succeeded, and once they succeeded, everybody says, oh, they did the right thing. And therefore, sometimes really, we need to really put every policy in the context of society. In our society, for example, where we are coming from, the structural inequality that we have had, I don't think we are likely to address that fully or effectively if we're simply following the normal market economy, the free market as is known. And I think it's also been proven. I think that, whatever you may want to call it, the free market system as it stands, as we understood it, as we were taught in schools, is not actually quite working as it is. It needs to be modified. It needs some intervention. And that's why I'm saying there will always be specific to each country, to each society, things that need to be specific about how to address issues like unemployment, issues like inequality, and therefore the one-size-fits-all probably cannot really be the solution for some of the problems we have.
Next question. Okay, we've got the first gentleman here, and we've got the two madams there as well. We are quite keen on gender equality